What exactly is a cold case? A cold case is an investigation that has stalled. Usually it's a serious crime like murder, missing persons, or even unsolved kidnappings. These are crimes that remain open, but with no active leads, no progress, and no clear path forward. In the United States, a case is often called cold if a full year has passed without new evidence or leads. But in reality, some cases grow cold much sooner, sometimes within months if everything dries up. What makes a cold case especially haunting is this: it doesn't end when the police put the files back in storage. Families are left waiting. Communities are left uneasy. And sometimes, the killer is still out there, walking free. But why do cases go cold in the first place? There are a few major reasons why cases go cold. 1. Lack of evidence. Not every crime scene gives investigators what they need. Maybe there's no DNA, no fingerprints, no murder weapon. Without evidence, police can't prove anything in court. 2. Witness problems. Witnesses are crucial in solving crimes, but memories fade. People forget details. Others may be too scared to come forward. In gang-related cases or cartel cases, fear alone can silence entire communities. 3. Technology limits. Crimes from the 70s, 80s, and even 90s often went cold because technology wasn't advanced enough. DNA testing was new. Digital databases didn't exist. Imagine trying to solve a crime without security cameras, cell phone data, or online records. 4. Resources. Police departments face constant pressure. New crimes happen every single day. Detectives can't spend endless hours chasing a lead that's gone nowhere. Cases without progress get pushed aside for fresh ones that demand immediate attention. The result? Files pile up. Families lose hope. And the word unsolved lingers like a scar. But here's the thing: cold doesn't always mean forgotten. Cold cases can come back to life. Sometimes it's because of new technology. Other times it's because of new witnesses. And every now and then, it's pure luck. Detectives will sometimes reopen a case after years, dusting off old boxes filled with photos, reports, and evidence bags. They re-examine everything with fresh eyes. What they once overlooked can suddenly become the key. Then there's science. A drop of blood that couldn't be tested in 1985 can now be run through modern DNA labs. A fingerprint that didn't match anyone decades ago can now be scanned against nationwide databases. And of course, people change. A witness who was too afraid to speak up might finally break their silence years later. A criminal who thought they got away with murder might confess while bragging to someone, or even slip up in a recorded conversation. Some cold cases stay frozen forever, but others thaw out with shocking results. To understand how powerful and haunting these cases can be, let's look at some of the most famous cold cases in America. The Zodiac Killer. In the late 1960s and early 70s, a man calling himself Zodiac killed multiple people in Northern California. He sent letters and cryptic codes to newspapers, taunting police. Despite decades of investigation, his true identity has never been proven. The case remains one of the most infamous cold cases in history. JonBenét Ramsey. In 1996, 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey was found dead in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. A ransom note was discovered. The crime shocked the nation. Yet, despite years of investigation, the case remains unsolved. No one has ever been convicted. The boy in the box. In 1957, the body of a young boy was found in a cardboard box in Philadelphia. For decades, no one even knew his name. He became known only as the boy in the box. More than 60 years later, in 2022, DNA testing finally identified him as Joseph Augustus Zarelli. But the question of who killed him still lingers. The Golden State Killer. This is a rare case where technology broke the silence. Between the 1970s and 1980s, a man later known as the Golden State Killer committed at least 13 murders and 50 sexual assaults in California. The case went cold for decades. Then, in 2018, investigators used a new technique, genetic genealogy, to trace DNA from crime scenes to Joseph James D'Angelo, a former police officer. After 40 years, the monster was unmasked. These cases show both sides of cold cases, the frustration of endless mystery, and the hope of modern breakthroughs. Forensic science has become the single most important tool in solving cold cases. DNA evidence changed everything. What once required large samples can now be tested from the tiniest traces, a strand of hair, a drop of saliva, a speck of blood. Then came genetic genealogy, a method that uses public DNA databases to track down family trees. That's how the Golden State Killer was caught. By connecting DNA to distant relatives, investigators can slowly build a map that points to a suspect. Other forensic advances also play a role. Fingerprint technology has improved. Digital forensics now lets investigators recover old data from cell phones and computers. Even handwriting analysis has grown more precise. These tools mean that no case is ever truly dead. Evidence locked away in storage decades ago might still hold the answer, waiting for technology to catch up. But let's step back. Why do cold cases capture so much public attention? The answer is simple: they're unfinished stories. Humans crave closure. We want endings. We want the truth. Cold cases deny us that. They leave the final page of the book blank. And that unsettles us. They also strike a deeper fear. If someone could vanish without answers, if a killer could walk free for years, it means it could happen to anyone. For families, the fascination is not entertainment. It's pain. Every day without answers is another wound. For the public, cold cases become puzzles, mysteries to solve. Entire online communities form around analyzing details, theories, and evidence. In some cases, those communities have even helped bring new leads to light. True crime isn't just entertainment. Sometimes, it's the spark that reopens the case. In the end, a cold case is more than an unsolved crime. It's a life stolen, a family waiting, a mystery that refuses to fade. They remind us of how fragile justice can be, of how easy it is for truth to slip away. But they also remind us that time doesn't always erase answers. With every new tool, every new lead, and every determined investigator, cold cases can still be solved, even decades later. But until that moment comes, cold cases remain haunting. Silent reminders that somewhere out there, someone knows the truth. And justice is still waiting. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.